Welcome to another custom structure generator tutorial. Today we're going over the big boy, the loot generator. This is what's going to make a little bit more adventure in the game. So let's go look at our bush structure, and what we're going to do is in the center of the bush add in a chest that generates some loot. Now I've made this pretty stinking simple, and I think it's a pretty easy way to set up a chest however you like with very few input. Um, very little input. So we'll be adding chest at the bottom here, and after chest in the same line, define how much loot you want to be in that chest. So like if I put in 5 here, that means all the time there's going to be 5 items generated into it. And then after that will be the items themselves. So an item can be 3 or 4 numbers. The first thing is the item ID. Let's just put in some leaves inside of a bush in a chest. The second is if you want metadata. If you do not want metadata, it's just simply not going to be the next number. And we don't want any. Actually, you know what? Let's mess with it. First we'll have metadata of 1, so we'll be getting different type of leaves. The next is how much can be inside of an item stack. There's always going to be 1. So if you put 1, there's only going to be 1 of these generated. If you put in something like 16, that means the item stack can have 1 to 16 generated. So there's no in between, it's just 1 to 16, and we'll keep it at that. And next is the weight of the item being generated, kind of like how we had our weight in the random. So we're going to say the metadata with 1, which I think is going to be birch leaves. I'm not quite sure. Is going to happen a little bit less. So we're going to put in normal leaves, and we're not going to type in metadata because it'd just be 0. We'll also have it 1 to 16, and we'll have it generating 2 to 1, so technically twice as often. And that's a chest. That's a totally set up chest right there. So because this is a generated block and we're creating another ID, again, we can create as many chests as we want inside of a structure. And because it's in the generated thing, it's going to be side by side with the random. And what I mean by that is the check still doesn't matter about creating these IDs for the generated blocks. So the random is still going to be considered block negative 32. Man, I keep getting these guys in here. That's the button I pressed to start recording, and that's why I keep appearing. And so after the randoms are counted, then the chests are counted. So the chest in this scenario is going to be considered negative 33. And let's replace the highest log block with a chest in here. So we'll put negative 33 at the center of the leaves. So what ends up happening is even if I can do this and it would work fine, when I do this and put the chest before the random, the chest is still going to be negative 33 because the randoms are counted first. And then it goes to the chests. So this is not a good way to format it because you're kind of confusing yourself here. So always have the randoms first, but technically the random is negative 32. This is negative 33, and then this next chest is negative 34. So let's put this after the random, just so that makes more sense. So the check is negative 32. That's used up here in the initial check. The random is also negative 32 in the generated blocks, and then the chest is negative 33. And here we see the chests being generated inside of the trees. So let's break it apart and look inside. You will notice there are 5 items in here. One of them being, it looks like the metadata of 1 gives it the pine leaves. And then normal leaves here, so there's obviously going to be more normal leaves because it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Let's see if we find, yeah, now there's 2 of these, 3 of the normal leaves. As you can see, they're all generating from 1 to 16. Also 5 inside of that chest, because that's how it'll always be. Occasionally we might find a chest that has more pine in it. That does not. That does not. It's a 2-to-1 ratio, and there's only 5 being generated in these, so it's going to be hard to find one where there's actually more pine leaves generated than normal leaves. There you go. You've already set up a little loot chest. Here's where things get a little trippy. So we can add into the random the chest, because the chest is considered, it's counted after the random. So what we can do is actually, sometimes it'll be 0, sometimes it will be 18, sometimes it will be the chest on the edges of the leaves. And we'll also give that a weight of 1. In fact, let's use multiple chests here. And this one will have a lot more stuff inside of it. You know what, let's have a lot more stuff inside of it. The maximum has to be 27 because that's all the room there is in the chest. And let's put in something strange. Like TNT, I don't know. No metadata needed for that. We'll just have 1. Actually, let's just give an example of it being totally filled. And this would be chest negative 34. So let's put that over here. And also let's give it a rare chance of happening. So all the others will be 10. And then this will be 1. So technically, out of 21, there's a 1 chance out of 21 that it'll have a chest that has a bunch of TNT and it's only 1. Technically, we do need to add the weight, even though there's no other items. And that's just how it is right now. Okay, I'm already starting to see there's 1 chest there, there's none here. And this one should just be filled with 1 TNT all the way, like that. Apparently, I believe it's a sorority is losing their mind outside right now, so you might hear some distant screaming. And there you go, that's all TNT, and then the chest on the inside is what we've been doing earlier. Sometimes it's air, sometimes it's leave, and then rarely it's a chest with TNT inside of it. And there you go. That's how you can set up a chest and have it interact with randoms. Also how the item is set up in terms of its ID. I don't know what happened here. I believe there's wood down there, but it just died because it wasn't close enough. Let's test that. Does that die? It shouldn't. Oh, interesting. Maybe it's because it's not connected to any wood. The bottom should still be alive. I don't know. Next video, and probably going to be one of the last real videos on teaching you how to build the structure file, will be mob spawners. I hope to see you then.